Hey everyone, you may remember those people who sold XRP quickly at $2.74 a few days ago. That's right, I think they're feeling pretty bad right now. I see what you mean. The market can be scary, but sometimes you have to be brave and do what you think is right. Look at this. At $3.04, we're now doing very well. Isn't that a lovely sight? Before things get too exciting, let me make this very clear. In Bitcoin, there is never a sure thing. What we saw now looks exactly like a normal repeat. I can't say for sure that was the bottom though. No one can. But, and this is a big but, I'm about to show you some really strong evidence from several chart experts who are sure that we just saw the floor. In this case, they are talking about XRP. So here we are, $3.04, just above that famous $3 mark. In fact, we hit $3.09 a few hours before I started recording this. It's just part of the game that some players lost money when the market went up. For the most part, now is a great time to hold XRP. I'm going to share the thoughts of many chart experts with you, including some very knowledgeable in XRP. The best part is now here. One of them is saying that we're only just beginning. What do you know? I agree with that evaluation 100%. I really think that most of the price changes for XRP, this whole market cycle, haven't even happened yet. We may have only seen a small part of what's to come. I'm not going to say that prices will go crazy, but let me explain why I think this. It all comes down to trends seen in the past. This is the interesting part. XRP did the exact same thing during each of the last two big market cycles. After one big pump, it went sideways for about 6 months. Then all of a sudden, it gave us a second big pump that took weeks to fully play out. Now, though, things get really interesting. What about that second pump? In terms of real dollar wins, it wiped out the first one completely. It's time for much bigger moves. The first pump looked like small change next to the second one. So what makes this cycle different? Use your brain to think about it. If this is all we get, XRP will only barely double from here on out. Where does that put us for a peak? How about $5, $6, $6.50 at most? I always tell the truth, and I will too. It's not clear to me what will happen. We don't do it. But what about that? I can't make sense of it. Think about this. XRP spent most of a decade putting itself together. Decades. It was finally made clear by the law. Lawyers' fees and lack of clarity are no longer holding it back. All that preparation for what? After breaking through and hitting some all-time highs, just a little above where we were almost 10 years ago, it's over. XRP is just going to say, okay, everyone, that's it. I'm going to sleep. Nope, I really doubt that. I seriously don't think that's true. And is it really this late in the year already? It's been one crazy ride after another. I really believe that the second half, which is now going on, will have a lot more exciting moments than the first half did. Let's be honest, the market went back and forth a lot in 2025 after that huge jump in late 2024. That's all there is to it. XRP is now worth $3.04. Let's look at this lovely 24-hour chart. That 3 handle is so beautiful. Just a few days ago, it was worth $2.74. Now it's worth $3.09. And to all the fear sellers out there, that has to hurt a bit. Well, you live and learn, right? Let's take a quick look at Bitcoin while we're here. We have $114,781 now. It reached its 24-hour high a few hours ago at $115,738, the same as XRP. Both have come a long way from their lows, around $112,000. Now, I'll give you some tips from experts that will blow your mind. Bob Lucas is the first one. This guy has 347,000 fans and is a legend in chart analysis. He just dropped this gem. After a nice sell-off in a late-stage bull market, you don't want to stay negative for too long. Actually, I told you guys that very thing the other day when everything was going wrong. I really meant to say, come on, people. It's not going to last. Nothing is wrong with this. It works this way all the time, especially when bull markets are nearing the end. We still get these scary dips at the end of these big runs. It doesn't come as a surprise. It's really just normal behavior. That's why selling out of fear made no sense. There was no reason to let this bother you or keep you up at night. Also, guess what? We didn't have to wait very long, did we? Boom. We'll go back up now. Now we have several experts who are very sure that we have hit the bottom. I have to show you something interesting about experts. There's this movie on CNBC with Tom Lee in it. Perhaps you know him. He's all over business TV. But there's something about Tom Lee. He does more than just talk on TV. He really does run a big business company. And what about his track record? It's pretty amazing. Look, no one is perfect. That's what I always say. But when it comes to market calls, this guy really hits it out of the park. He thinks that the S&P 500 will set a number of new all-time highs this month. Now, if that happens, and Tom Lee is generally right about these things, then maybe those analysts who said XRP was going to go through the roof this month were right. Here is the truth. These markets can't be timed correctly by anyone. That's always what I say. We're nearing the end of this bull run though, so it makes sense to think that big moves could happen soon. People are likely to become more at ease with risk over time. For us, it's more important that they come into altcoins than that they'll buy a lot of stock. Also, people, let me say something. There will be an alt season right after this one. I really believe we're not far from it at all. And if you look at trends from the past, we're almost there. It's lovely how history rhymes with itself. Tom Lee might be right about the S&P 500, which would make it easy for crypto to go through the roof. Let me show you another point of view. This is a Bitcoin study from chartist Javon Marks that will get you excited. He looks at this Bitcoin picture and says, Bitcoin is going up from the retest. This could cause a run to levels above $135,000. Now here's the deal. While I'm only giving you a few examples today, there are a huge number of experts who are saying the same thing. The things we saw over the last few days were just a repeat, not a thing more or less. The market went up, then went back down to try support. It found it to be strong, so it's ready to keep going up. Take a look at this one too. This comes from Mr. Mustache Bitcoin, a chart expert. Also, I love that name. He looks at this and says, Bitcoin, let's say this correction is just a retest. Bitcoin has moved out of a 7-month-long inverse head and shoulders pattern. The goal is $155,000 to $161,000. Then he says this famous line, as is often said, I think dips are good times to buy.